I really love the message of this episode and just how it really shows how we as humanity have progressed over centuries upon centuries of advancement. This really just makes you think about just how far we as a species have come. When you think about day-to-day life, when you think about what we have around us, to me being able to make these videos to put online, to just the simple task of being able to switch a channel on a TV or turn on a light, it really just, many of us don't stop to think about just how amazing it really is. It seems so simple, it seems like it's common to see stuff like this, and it is, but when you really think about how it is, it's so amazing how far we are. Back in the past, people didn't have power, they didn't have anything, and they had to deal with the night. All they had was fire to really keep light out in the middle of the night. And when the light bulb was first invented, or electricity, that's when the world forever changed. It was no longer cloaked in darkness. It no longer was just always pitch black and you had to wait until the morning for you to be able to do something. And with the invention of, like, electricity, it really changed things forever. We conquered the night, and what Senku says really does hold true. Like, we had truly as a species conquered something that was honestly something nobody ever saw coming if you would go back hundreds of years ago. The light bulb, electricity. And I really like how this series, like, gives nods to just show how amazing technology is. I don't know, it blows my mind, really, because you don't really think about stuff like that until you watch this series and just realize how crazy it is. So, anyways, to get right into it, this episode has quite a bit. It introduces a new character. We get some of the main plot, which is about kind of making a generator to having electricity. I mean, there's quite a bit that's actually in this episode, and let's see, where to begin? I guess let's start off with the new character. So there is a new character that is introduced, and apparently he is a magician or a mentalist or whatever. He has wrote a book in the past, in the old age, before the Stone Age happened. He wrote a book, and he was kind of famous, even though Senku didn't really care about his literature or whatever. He thought it was bad. You know, he did make a book and all that, and so it does say quite a bit. And he's someone that is able to do magic tricks, typical magical tricks that you would have, where you can hide cards behind your hand, whatever, back of the palm. And you can see that it's kind of ironic, really, that you have someone like Senku and Chrome that are obviously being described as sorcerers, when you see someone like this new character that's introduced that is basically what you would say a modern-day sorcerer would be. A modern-day sorcerer nowadays, when you think about the term wizard, magician, whatever, you think of people that are able to do magic tricks like, oh, you know, I can make this card disappear, etc. And that's what I think of at the very least. And what he does, to a lot of people's eyes, it would look like magic, because he is making things disappear before their very eyes. And people, when they look at, let's say, something Senku's doing, they want to call him a, you know, magician, wizard, or whatever, too, because he's doing things that they never thought was possible. And it kind of really just explains what the term really means in some people's eyes. When someone calls someone a magician or a sorcerer or whatever, usually it's because they do the unknown. They do something so unexplainable, something they have no idea about, that the only thing they can really coin it is magic. It has to be magic, you know, some unknown entity that is outside the realm of possibility in their mind. And I like how we get to see two examples of what science is, or sorcery is, and, you know, a magician. We get to kind of see the two differences and all that. I think that was very intentional with the character that came about in this episode, because it really shows the contrast of what really the two really are. So, okay, anyways, the character, the introduction, besides being a magician or whatever, he's someone that's obviously been broken free from the stone thanks to Tsukasa. Now, it's been a bit since we've heard about Tsukasa. It's been a bit since we've, found out about whatever, happened to Yuzu or Taiju. They've been kind of out of the series for a little bit, past few episodes now, but it makes sense for the reason why, because Senku's been progressing this other civilization. And this new character that popped up, obviously he was doing reconnaissance. He wanted to know if Senku was still alive, if there was a possibility, and also to see what was really out there, and obviously there is primitives. We do know that there is primitives, and we don't really know exactly how they broke out of the stone in the first place. That's still yet to really be explained at this time. Were they immune to the stone effect? Were someone miraculously, did they break out of the stone? We don't really know. The only thing is, though, is that basically the dude found these primitives, and Senku was someone that obviously was there, and he had a choice. He's like, look, Senku, I could go back and tell Tsukasa you're alive, which means that he would come to this place, he would, sack it, and he would also get rid of you. Make sure you're completely done. But he's like, also, I could lie to him and say I just found a bunch of primitives and there was no Senku. Senku is definitely dead. And I still think, even if he came back and reported, primitives and etc., I think that Tsukasa would still be very interested in what's going on. When you think about Tsukasa, he kind of wants to get rid of the adults. He wants to reset the world, keep it in like a stone age, keep it very simplistic. And I think that if he finds out that there is a bunch of primitive villages, etc., that he probably is going to want to sack it and eradicate individuals that are probably not worthy. I can definitely see him doing that because he doesn't want to get into the same power system as it was in the past. So I think that's likely to happen. Even if the dude reports to him, Tsukasa, that Senku is dead, he might still arrive at the village to see what is going on. And then probably those individuals that have been outcasted away from the village will probably join his cause and say that Senku is definitely alive. Which that leads to a major part I need to talk about. Obviously, within the village, if there is anyone that is an outcast, okay, someone gets outcasted right now in the next episode, they have crucial knowledge that Senku is alive. They might not know his name, they might not know much about him, they'll say he's a sorceress, or a sorcerer. And if they somehow find Tsukasa and then say those type of words, obviously Tsukasa is going to be able to put A and B together and figure out what's going on. So there is a lot of danger right now stacked against Senku, is that if someone is kicked out of the village anytime soon for something bad, and they find Tsukasa, his cover's blown, and then they're back in the same exact situation. So there's a lot of things to really think about. But okay, the big major point though I want to talk about is that the character, he really hasn't chosen a side yet. He is really on nobody's side, he's on his own side. He just wants to have a good life. He wants to have an easy, good life, which honestly, I don't blame him. I mean, can anyone really? Let's be real here. So, I mean, he wants to have an easy, good life, and he talks to, Senku. He's like, look, man, I can go tell him, or you can, give me an offer that I can't refuse. And he's like, okay, I'll make electricity. I'll make a generator. And he's like, wait, what? And now that Senku has proven to him that he can make power and stuff, he probably wants to stick with him, because that means that he might one day be able to create, let's say, smartphones, internet, etc. So that's definitely something that's probably going to pique his interest, because with the era we live in right now, us as individuals, imagine if electricity was lost, okay? We were transported to the stone world. It would be cool for the time. It would be cool to be in an unknown world, exploring, etc. But eventually you would miss electricity. You would miss the ease of electricity. Not just for, let's say, internet, but you would miss the ease for, let's say, cooking food, to, being able to have lights on at night, etc. You'd miss stuff like that. The essentials that we've grown very accustomed to in our day and era. So that is the point, is that because of him showcasing that he can make electricity, the dude's probably going to stick with him because of just how great it would be. Because Tsukasa's never going to want that to happen to begin with. He doesn't want technological advancement to happen, at least when it comes to electricity, power, and all of that. So anything else really left to get into? I guess let's talk about the food. So the food obviously was a hit in the village. I mean, he was able to make a good amount of food. Everybody really enjoyed it. He got a lot of manpower. It seems like everybody's becoming more and more aware and warming up to him as an individual, and basically accepting Senku, because if you can win over their stomachs, you can win over their heart and mind, and it seems like that is slowly coming true as time goes on. He did manage to win over Kinro and Ginro in this episode, which is also a major step in the right direction, because they are kind of like the muscle and the guards of the village, and if he has them on his side, that means he might be able to access the village and walk in when he wants to, without actually being denied. So there is a lot of things that's working into Senku's favor, and I am looking forward to seeing the growth of the, Science Kingdom, and how far is he really going to take the electricity for the time being. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.